proudly Ghanaian. Telisol, just a touch. And UMB Bank, UMB speed up. Digibank, let's go. Coming up, a city under siege. Armed robbers terrorize residents of the eastern regional capital, Koforidua.
They ordered him to lie down, and then they asked him where is the money. So they said he should lie down. They tied him with a gun pointed on him. So the rest entered the bedroom.
We're there live. Also, CEO of UT Holdings, Prince Kofi Amoabeng, rejects claims company money of 5 million cedis was paid into his personal account. We'll hear from the man who says his heart bleeds over the collapse of UT Bank. Also, statesman J.H. Mensah is laid to rest today, and President Akufo-Addo has some great eulogies for him.
J.H. instinctively pointed over a decade ago to the double-track system that the nation is about to experience. That was the measure of the man, insightful and perceptive.
And in 21, I join you with sports. Reactions continue to come in following the outcome of yesterday's meeting between government and FIFA officials. A former Ghana player insists decision to form normalization committee is in the right direction.
That and more coming up in sports. And are you dreaming of owning a beachfront property here in Ghana? We'll tell you the great offers available in our build-up to the Joy News Western World Habitat Fair tomorrow.
We have come out with the packages such that once you make a down payment, we give you offer letter, and then we take you to site for you to have the fair idea of the place.
My name is Gifty Ando Apia. Let's settle for the details now. The eastern regional capital of Koforidua has for years been a serene enclave, devoid of the hustle and bustle that characterizes other cities like Accra and Kumasi, and the crime rates there seem to be low. But lately, there's concern about the spate of armed robberies in the otherwise peaceful city. Correspondent Maxwell Kudeko will be joining us in a bit. But first, here is a victim of a recent attack.
Around 2:00 a.m., we just heard a gun shot 3 times. They started breaking into our room from the back door. Then they entered. But then I was trying to get somewhere to hide. My husband was on the hall. Then when he also heard it, he was coming towards the bedroom where I was. So he met me and said I shouldn't hide, I should just stand. So I was there shaking. Then they entered. As my husband was going out, they met him. They ordered him to lie down, and then they asked him where is the money. So they said he should lie down. They tied him with a gun pointed on him. So the rest entered the bedroom. I was there alone. So immediately I heard them asking about the money from my husband. I had some money on me, so I just gave it to them. And they said, am I sure it's finished? If they search, they find another one, they will shoot me.
That's a victim of a recent robbery attack. Our Eastern Regional correspondent, Maxwell Kudeko, has been following this story. He joins me on the line with details. Maxwell, tell us a bit more about these attacks.
Well, many people or residents in the regional capital are not in good times at all. This robbery spans from residential robbery. Students who reside in various hostels have had their fair share of this robbery, and as well as some businesses. Just last week, about 5 hostels around the Poly Junction were robbed, whilst other businesses, including drinking bars, one popular drinking bar in town, Bamboo Sport, was also robbed, where their safes and laptops and other items were stolen from them. And a series of armed robbery or residential robbery in the New Jabi municipality. Some of the victims explain how traumatized they are. Some of the victims claim that it's very difficult to live in their homes again, because anytime they hear the sound of even a sheep or, if you like, a goat around, they get scared. So the situation has been very scary for most of the people residing in the regional capital, Koforidua. Some have to resort to clinical tests. Some have to seek psychological attention from doctors before they could survive after their attack. So it has been a very difficult moment for most people residing in the regional capital, Koforidua.
So the police certainly must be taking some action. What have they said about these events?
Well, for some time now, almost about a few weeks ago, they started night patrol, and then also they introduced some snap checkpoints in some communities. But I've been moving around during the night time to check the effectiveness of the night patrols and then also the snap checkpoints. I realized that some of the checkpoints don't have officers. Sometimes you get there, there's no checkpoint, there's no officer, and then also you realize that most points have been deserted. In a recent interview I had with the Eastern Regional Police PRO, Mr. DSP Benazateta, this is what he had to say about the insecurity and how the police are preparing to sort the issues out.
Residents of the municipality were genuinely complaining about some security situations which were not so much conducive. We had some series of residential robberies, and subsequently we have re-strategized and we have deployed more men. We have actually beefed up the number of personnel that we usually deploy on our night patrol duties, one of which you are seeing. Hitherto, the snap checks and the foot patrols were not so much part of the night patrols duties that we were doing, but we have incorporated foot patrols and snap check duties, and we have factored it into our night patrols duty.
That's the PR of the Eastern Regional Police Command. Let's head to the Upper West region now, because many users of the Sola-Tanina Highway are now worried about a new security measure to deal with the armed robbery attacks on that road. Highway robberies intensified on the stretch, resulting in a directive for buses to wait some hours for police escort. Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports residents are demanding offensive action against the robbers.
Scenes or spots of armed robbery attacks on innocent citizens in the Upper West region could be described as a whirlwind because it has no exact particular direction, but they are able to stay put and operate at one particular location for weeks or months. One of such locations is the 100-mile Wasola Highway, the most dangerous part where passengers race most and have their hearts in their mouths is the 4-kilometer stretch between Tuna and Taningana in the Solo-Tuna Kalaba and Warwest districts respectively. Several police barriers and snap checkpoints could be spotted dotted on the highway, but that does not prevent passengers plying the route from saying a silent prayer to save their lives from the claws of these marauding armed robbers.
We have done a lot to make sure we smoke them out. But it seems they have only got informants. We've been to Jendabua. We have shifted the barrier more than 3 times. If you can watch, you shift the barrier and they'll go and create another operating point. So it is not about knowing where they operate. We know where they operate. We go there. Sometimes we go there and stay up to 3 a.m.
Deputy Upper West Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Peter Ndekuri Anabuguri, preferred that the best way to tackle the armed robbery menace in the area is for community members living along the highway to form neighborhood watchdog committees to complement the work of the police.
We should blame it on the very communities where the crime is being orchestrated. So what we are advising is that we are trying to link up with the assemblymen and the chiefs and appeal to them personally to make sure that they assist the police to smoke out the criminal within their community.
Acting Upper West Regional Director of Education, Evans Kweba, at a deba at Taningana, in honor of the Executive Secretary of the Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service, DSP Peter Tubu, expressed worry over the increasing spate of armed robbery in the area, who sometimes force security supervisors and teachers in the communities to either delay or absent themselves from schools.
Every day after 6 o'clock, we can move out to Tanina here. It's a big worry. My schools are all closed. Supervision cannot go on. Security supervisors are attacked on the road and their things seized, confiscated by armed robbers. And these people are within us. They are our children, they are our brothers. You don't expose them.
Vehicles and passengers flying the highway after 7 p.m. are made to stop at either Ponyentanga or Sola to be escorted by the police to safety.
Rafiq Salam with that report. Now, CEO of UT Holdings, Prince Kofi Amwabeng, has denied claims in a leaked Bank of Ghana report that he received 5 million cedis of loan repayment into his personal account. An assessment report by audit firm Boulders Advisors Limited said Mr. Amwabeng took the money from one Kofi Jobs JB, but failed to inform the board of the bank. But in a statement, Mr. Amwabeng says the money was payment for his own home sold to Mr. Jebi and has pledged to cooperate with the agencies investigating development prior to the collapse of the bank. Here is the statement.
The last 1 year has been a very challenging period for the UT family. Personally, I have been deeply disturbed by events that preceded the collapse of UT Bank, and more so, some of the happenings that have unfolded after the takeover by the Bank of Ghana. In truth, my heart bleeds as I struggle to come to terms with the fact that the organization we toiled so hard to build over 20 years ceased to exist. A lot has been said over the period in question. I have refrained from commenting on the development for a number of reasons, including the fact that the YOCO continues to investigate the circumstances leading to UT Bank's collapse. However, I feel compelled to come out at this time following widespread misrepresentation of the facts of the matter, particularly in relation to my supposed withdrawal of some 5 million Ghana cedis, which according to media reports, I failed to disclose to my board. Now, here are the facts. Kofi Jobs JB was a client of UT Bank who secured a loan facility and subsequently paid off the loan with its accrued interest in full. Mr. JB, after paying off in full his commitment to the bank, expressed interest in purchasing my personal residence at Roman Ridge in Accra, which I had put up for sale. Due to UT Bank's challenges at the time, I instructed that payment of the said house be made to my personal bank account at UT Bank to help shore up the company's liquidity. I wonder then how my decision not to disclose payment of monies into my personal account for the purchase of my personal residence constitutes a misdeed as suggested by several news reports. It is instructive to note that the Boulders report, which was the source document of the said news report, indeed referenced my response to the team that interviewed me on the said matter. On page 46 of the said report, it states, when Boulders Advisors Limited inquired about this transaction, Mr. P.K. Amwabeng indicated that he had sold his personal residence at Roman Ridge, Accra, to Mr. Kofi Jobs JB. It is therefore curious that this was neither factored into the conclusion of the Boulders report nor any of the widespread media reportage. I am saddened by the turn of events these past few months. Our brand was guided by a vision of assisting Ghanaian businesses and individuals to achieve their aims based on sound values, principles, and discipline. We had always envisioned growing this company into a steadfast international Ghanaian-owned company. However, in our quest to support Ghanaian businesses and individuals, the company had challenges and the central bank intervened.
CEO of defunct UT Bank, Prince Kofi Amwabeng's statement read to you by Fifi Kumsin. George Rafe joins me in the studio. He's assistant editor on our business desk. George, you're welcome to the studio. Now, let's talk about this matter. How has UT Bank related companies been affected by the development so far?
Gifty, let's first get some understanding on the subsidiaries of UT, because we have the UT Group. You can talk about the UT Properties, UT Logistics, UT Collections. You can talk about UT Financial Services based in Nigeria, the Private Security Service, as well as the Gateway Wealth Management. Right. Trying to get those detailed numbers of these companies have been difficult to make an intelligent assessment that maybe, for instance, in 2016, these were their profits numbers, and in 2017, it has dropped. But engaging some of these companies when these actions really came about, some of them argued that they've been affected in terms of clientele. The whole financial industry is about confidence. Therefore, if I believe that I can transact something with you without any problem, I will go ahead. It was believed that UT Bank was the cash cow of the group in terms of what they were bringing in then. So if the bank has gone down, people would have issues with whether should I even go ahead and deal with their wealth management service, their properties and all those things. So that problem actually might impact on them being able to attract more customers. Don't forget that even this news about some banks going down, you could talk about the contagion effect. Other local banks have been affected. People are closing down their bank accounts and moving their funds to foreign firms. So if you have a bank that has subsidiaries, obviously their clients are going to react. And therefore, in terms of growing your numbers, in terms of doing more transactions, that would also be affected, Gifty.
Certainly, but then what are the experts saying as far as the future of these related businesses is?
Now, investigations are ongoing. Then maybe if the report finally comes out and it exonerates him as a person, then people would confidently want to go out and deal with these businesses. But obviously, people would have issues in dealing with this company because of what has happened. And therefore, before that confidence is not there. Even for some of the local banks, we understand that because of what is happening, they are struggling to attract funds from outside the country, even correspondent banks and all the rest. People are saying that we think that you won't meet the new capital requirement. We believe that you have problems. And even news that still Bank of Ghana could act on other banks that are having serious liquidity problems. And people will ask you, oh, this bank, should I deal with this bank? Even normal retail customers want to know which banks are good and bad and where should they move their funds. How much more those institutional investors, those big clientele. And if you are not bringing in fresh capital for you to do business, obviously it will have an impact on your company in attracting more clients, in getting fresh capital to engage or do other businesses.
George, certainly this has a far-reaching impact as well on the entire economy, because these are companies within the economy. But then what safe analysis can we make about employee-related impacts?
Well, these companies, if, for instance, the capital or the funds are not coming in, for these local banks that have been affected, you need fresh capital to come in. So if you're not sure about your future, some of these workers could be asked to go home because I'm not doing well, the capital is not coming in, and therefore the first thing that any business won't touch are the workers in trying to strategize or re-strategize and ensure that you do well with the little capital available. So it would have impact on the workforce going forward if anything is not done to assure investors, to assure you and I that despite all those things that are happening, the financial system is safe. That is both local banks and foreign banks.
All right, George Rafi, thank you so much for that analysis. The investigations are ongoing. We'll be here to update you as and when there is any new. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We're in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. And around the world at myjoyonline.com. In London, we're on ABN Radio. We'll take a quick break, but stories done so far. City is under siege. We're talking about Koforidua, where armed robbers are terrorizing residents. When we return from the break, a student of the Katanga Hall of the KNUST hits the street over plans by the university to turn their halls into mixed-sex ones.
What we are looking for is that the university should look focused. What are they trying to what is their goal? What is their vision towards this? We all know that now the SRC has become an appendage. It has become a PR extension of the university. We, Kunti and CAT, are not willing to sacrifice that right. We want to, at any point in time, protect the interests of the students. We are not here to joke.
That is the sweet sound of excellence. That is the sound from Mac. Yes, Mac Ghana is the #1 distributor of the world's best quality Isuzu and Chevrolet vehicles in Ghana. Isuzu trucks from 1.5 tons to heavy-duty vehicles. Isuzu buses from 15 to 33 seaters, double and single cabin pickup, available in automatic and manual transmissions. We also stock a wide range of Chevy cars, from SUVs, sedans, and small cars, fully loaded with exquisite specifications. All our range of vehicles stand out due to its high fuel efficiency, safety, luxury, spacious interior, world-class delivery, and after-sales servicing. What's more, we offer flexible payment terms to meet your pocket. Mac Ghana is a sole distributor for Isuzu trucks and pickups, as well as all range of Chevrolet cars in Ghana. Call us on 0302-813-919 in Accra or 0242-039-550 in Kumasi. Visit our website macghana.com. Mac Ghana, with you for the long run.
You're welcome back to the Midday News live on Joy 99.7 FM. And Benedict Owusu is here with the latest in sports.
Yes, Gifty. Now, former Black Stars player Augustine Info says decision by government and FIFA to form a normalization committee is fraudulent. Now, according to him, FIFA and government must look at men of integrity to form the normalization committee.
We should leave that to FIFA and the government to make the composition of persons that should be on the normalization committee. I really don't believe that, because we are ex-footballers, so we can really do a very good job. But some of us are competent enough to be on a committee or at the sidelines to help. Let's hope that they will put very good people together, try to normalize situations like we all want, and then we'll move ahead with life in terms of soccer in this country. We should make sure, or they should make sure, that they put the right persons in place so that we will not have to go back to what we experienced earlier on. Because soccer, you know, is the passion of the nation. I don't think we have to allow things to go astray. So I'm really happy that for now we see the way clear.
All right, so that's a former Black Stars player, Augustine Rahim, for now. A lot of action this weekend here on the locals. In Indiana Stars will be in action on Sunday in a CAF Confederation Cup game with ASEC Mimosa of Burkina Faso. Also, new season begins in Italy this weekend with a focus, obviously, on the world's best player, that's Cristiano Ronaldo. Also, the La Liga is getting underway this weekend. And the question is, can Real Madrid cope without Cristiano Ronaldo, who has joined the Juventus? And the English Premier League will continue with the top liner between Chelsea and Arsenal on Saturday. That will be the late kickoff. And Manchester City have also confirmed that midfielder Kevin De Bruyne will be out for 3 months with a knee injury. That's your sports.
Arsenal all the way. I don't mind what you say. All right, let's go on with the news now. President Akufo-Addo says the late J.H. Mensah pointed out the double-track system over a decade ago as a way of making good use of the infrastructure in Ghana's schools. Such infrastructure usually lies dormant for nearly half of the year. J.H. Mensah died aged 89 in a personal eulogy as a state funeral is held for the late statesman today. President Akufo-Addo described the former senior minister as insightful and perspective, who will be sorely missed.
His role as senior minister in the government of his brother-in-law, His Excellency John Ajikun Kufuor, second president of the Fourth Republic, was invaluable. Experienced, far-sighted, visionary, he brought his great intellect to the consideration of the difficult matters that the Kufuor government had to address. Invariably, he would shed light on complicated issues and pave the way for intelligent solutions. The President and members of his cabinet benefited visibly from his interventions. The most felicitous of pens, it was a joy to read his communications, for he had a wonderful ability to express complex ideas in the most simple way. Arguably, only that outstanding Chief Justice, Fred Kwesi Apalu, had that same faculty amongst the great officials of modern Ghana. Today I can recall, as if it was yesterday, his thoughtful observation that the country needed to find a way to employ the infrastructure of our schools, which lies dormant for nearly half of the year. J.H. instinctively pointed over a decade ago to the double-track system that the nation is about to experience. That was the measure of the man. Bishop of Cape Coast.
President Akufo-Addo there eulogizing J.H. Mensah. Well, whilst commending the family of J.H. Mensah for being able to organize his burial within 40 days, the Archbishop of Cape Coast, Palmer Bako, admonished mourners gathered at the Accra International Conference Center to rather spend time on the living as he delivered the sermon.
That all Ghanaians will take cue and do same, if not even better. Please, let us all do well and do everything we can to bury our loved ones within 1 week or 2 weeks of their death. Lying interminably in the mortuary in that cold is not very pleasant for any soul that wants to be off to go to God. I believe we are wasting too much time. We are wasting too much money. And we are wasting too much resource on burials and funerals in Ghana.
Archbishop Palmer Bako there. He is the Archbishop for Cape Coast. Let's head to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, because hundreds of students and alumni of two all-male halls, Katanga and Continental, have been protesting against a move by the school to make their halls a mixed-sex one.
What we are looking for is that the university should look focused. What are they trying to what is their goal? What is their vision towards this? We all know that now the SRC has become an appendage. It has become a PR extension of the university. We, Kunti and CAT, are not willing to sacrifice that right. We want to, at any point in time, protect the interests of the students. We are not here to joke.
So those are some of the protesters there. Let's head to Kumasi and speak to Kwesi Deborah. Kwesi Deborah, bring us up to speed. What's happening?
And for now, they've converged at the Abbotts Park, Ashtown. They are done with the presentation of the petition, and this was received behind closed doors by authorities of Malaysia Palace. And I spoke with some of the reps who told me they're expecting Dotupo, who is the chancellor of the university, to expedite action. MFA.
Well, have authorities of the school responded in any way to their concerns?
No, we're trying to get through to them. They've given us some time, and they say they will respond as soon as possible.
All right, Kwesi, thank you very much. This is Gifty, by the way. Kwesi Deborah joining us all the way from Kumasi. And Mapitso Savidi is here. Is Continental trending?
No, it's not. Unfortunately, hashtag Stay Woke is trending. Let's check it out.
Stay woke, living every moment to the day that we fall off. With nice up, yeah, nice up. Stay woke, living every moment to the day that we fall off. With nice up, yeah, nice.
Mapito, tell us about this.
Okay, so that's Darker Vibes featuring Stone Boys, hashtag Stay Woke. And this is from Ed Balton, who says, it's a gem. Are you mad? Fire, fire, fire. And at Stone Boy himself, he says, God's ways are mysterious. So listen to hashtag Stay Woke.
Mapito is animated. Okay, so we saved the best for last. Let me tell you about it. Everyone would want to own their own home. That means no problems with a difficult landlord who cares only about your rent. But to achieve that, you need a piece of land. Well, the Joy News Western World Properties Habitat Fair at the West Hills Mall tomorrow seems to have some great offers, from beachfront land at Pram Pram to beautiful condos in Tema Community 25. Marketing officer at Western World Properties, Florence Enchi, has been talking more about the beachfront package.
We have come out with the packages such that once you make a down payment, we give you offer letter, and then we take you to site for you to have a fair idea of the place, to raise your interest. Now, once you get there and you're interested, we register you, and then you start your payment. Once you get to 60%, we give you the chance to go and start construction on your land, and then you spread the rest for a period of 1 year, which I think is flexible enough. So we're doing that to, within the time frame, as time goes on, as you keep paying, as you go to the site, we allow you to go there even without our notice. So as you go there, you realize that if there are any litigation problems, definitely you're going to see, even before you get to 60%, to go start your construction.
Sounds like a very good deal to me. I don't know what you think, but make your way to the West Hills Mall tomorrow at 8 a.m. You get to know all the deals available in the Joy News Western World Habitat Fair. It is the mini clinic, by the way. We look forward to seeing you there. That's it for the stories here. Our top stories. A city, it's under siege. We're talking about how armed robbers are terrorizing residents of the Eastern Regional Capital, Koforidua. CEO of UT Holdings, Prince Kofi Amoabeng, rejects claims company money of 5 million cedis was paid into his personal account. Why don't you log on to myjoyonline.com for more news? My name is Gifty Andopia. Many thanks for your time.